Welcome to NESN Football Now, presented by Polar Fleece, the official uniform of New England. New England remains undefeated headed into Week 5, and the team they're up against doesn't exactly give Pats fans cause for concern. The 4-0 Pats will take on the 0-4 Redskins when they visit Washington, D.C. on Sunday. The Redskins have lost games to the Eagles, Cowboys, Bears, and Giants. Bill Belichick called them a good team earlier this week, classic Bill, but the stats don't seem to agree. The Skins ranked 28th or worse in a number of categories, including total offense, total defense, points scored, and points allowed. Things seem to be trending in a downwards direction, as Jay Gruden didn't even know which quarterback he was going to start until Thursday. Colt McCoy is the pick, and while he did beat Tom Brady in 2010 while on the Cleveland Browns, he has no easy task in front of him. That's because we knew the defense was going to be good this season, but we didn't know it was going to be this good. Through the first 4 weeks, the Pats D leads the league in sacks, interceptions, and QB hits. Seriously, get this. Less than 6% of opponents' drives have ended in a score heading into Week 5. The D has yet to let up a pass touchdown. In fact, when passing deep against the Pats, quarterbacks have thrown more interceptions than they have completions. A couple of Pats in particular are standing out early on. Kyle Van Noy was named AFC Defensive Player of the Week with 8 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles, while Devin McCourty was named AFC Defender of the Month. Here's what Duron Harmon had to say about his teammate.
It's amazing. I mean, Dev's always played really good football here. Elite football for, 10 years now. He's always been a stand-up guy, and, the ball is finding him this year. And we always talk about how important turnovers are. He already got 4 already himself. So, I mean, he's playing great football. Kyle's playing great football as well. And we just got to keep it going as a group.
Things didn't start so well for others. After 4 missed extra point attempts through the first 4 games, Stephen Gostkowski is out as New England's kicker. He's being replaced by another vet, Mike Nugent. Nugent is 37 years old and has played for 7 different teams in his career. He has appeared in 5 playoff games. Gostkowski is the Pats' all-time leader in points and field goals. He was placed on IR with a left hip injury and will have season-ending surgery. Another new face, Ben Watson, is back in action. He returns from a 4-game suspension. The 38-year-old came out of retirement to rejoin the Pats in the spring last season. With New Orleans, Watson had 35 catches for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Here's how the Pats' schedule shakes out for the rest of October. They have a short turnaround after Sunday's game when they take on the Giants for Thursday Night Football. That's at 8:20 at Gillette. Then their second game of the year against the 0-3 Jets at MetLife Stadium. To close out the month, a matchup against the Cleveland Browns at Gillette. Kickoff for that one is set for 4:25 p.m. And now here's Doug Kyde answering all of your important questions in this week's Mailbag.
I don't know if I agree with that last thing I said, but we're going to roll with it. Hello and welcome to this week's Mailbag. I am Doug Kyde. If you have a question for me, tweet it to me at Doug Kyde using the hashtag Mailbag, and I will try to answer it. First question here comes from JustinTime217, who asks, do you think Brady trusts his O-line right now? Are the Patriots in more need of blocking / O-line or wide receiver? I do think Brady trusts his O-line, or at least that's the public perception that he wants to give off. If you notice on Tom Brady's Instagram, he's constantly thanking his offensive line after games. I'm sure it helps that they've gone 4-0 so far, but they've actually done a pretty good job of keeping Tom Brady upright. He has not eaten a lot of sacks so far this season. He was under a decent amount of pressure against Buffalo, so I do think that his protection can improve. That being said, do the Patriots need blocking / O-line or wide receiver help more? If I have to pick, I would probably say wide receiver, just because Isaiah Wynn is coming off of injured reserve, so that gives the Patriots their left tackle back. And then they're really only down 1 starter from how they were planning to go into the season, and that's at center with Ted Karras. I think it will be very difficult for the Patriots to afford a wide receiver given their current cap situation, but I can see a situation where it's possible that they would need a wide receiver given the health of Julian Edelman or given the uncertainty surrounding Josh Gordon. That being said, N'Keal Harry can come off of injured reserve after Week 8. Second question here comes from Michael Galland, who says, Honest thoughts on Sony Michel long term. Obviously, O-line injuries are hampering production, but what do you think his final season numbers will be? Before the season, I projected him at over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Not so sure that will happen at this point. I do think that Michel has been a little bit disappointing this season. I thought he would take another step forward this year, and I haven't seen that. A lot of that is due to the offensive line because they're not creating holes for him, but at the same time, he was a first-round pick, so I think that he should be able to create his own yards. He hasn't done that yet. That being said, it is early in the season, so maybe that will improve. As far as end-of-season numbers, maybe now we're looking at something like 950 yards and 8 touchdowns. I don't know. Last question here comes from Pats Nation X6, who asks, what type of impact do you think Harry can have on the offense if he comes off IR? A pretty decent one. He is a rookie though, but I think that there's ways to get N'Keal Harry involved somewhat similarly to how the Patriots did it with Josh Gordon last season. I think it definitely helps that N'Keal Harry was with the team throughout training camp, throughout preseason. He wasn't healthy, but at least he was able to learn the playbook. He and some other rookie Patriots have been going through walkthroughs after practice, which also helps their knowledge of the playbook, but Tom Brady definitely has to, trust N'Keal Harry, but I think there are definitely ways to get him involved on slants and ways to get him involved while picking up some yards after the catch. That was really one of his biggest strengths at Arizona State. He's also so big that he can make contested catches. So I think he'll make an impact. I think that ideally the Patriots are hoping that he won't make an impact though, and in that case, Edelman, Gordon, and Philip Dorsett would be staying healthy throughout the rest of the season.
That does it for this week's episode of Football Now. Before we go, we leave you with this. Matthew Slater got his first touchdown in the NFL in Week 4, but it seems like he's practiced his touchdown dance before. This is a pic of him in his UCLA football days, and it doesn't look like much has changed. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week.